Hello, everyone. Mrs. Doubtfire. Hello.
Hello.
That was some pumping music over here, fist pumping. I am Honesty Liller. I am a woman in long-term recovery from addiction. And what that means to me is I have been drug and alcohol free since May 27, 2007. So a long time. And I am the CEO of the McShin Foundation. I don't get the opportunity to come on here as often as Nathan and Alex and Todd. So today I have a special guest, two special guests actually that are very important to me, two amazing badass women that I love and adore greatly. But today's a little special as well. We have our 100th episode right now. Woo, woo, woo. So I don't know if you guys out there know who Andy Cohen is, but I love watching the Andy Cohen show. And what he says, drinking game alert, and he does this magic word. And if you hear that word, you take a drink. Well, we're not going to do that, Avi, but we're going to have a word. And when you hear the word, Todd, you should step your game up. Recovery.
Pew, pew,
we
pew.
are going to do something even better. Woo! I got all of my tea. Oh, Bart. Damn it. I'm going to drink it anyway. I love gold.
It's edible glitter.
I know. So this is so awesome. So for our 100th episode, we're going to have a little fun. And so if I hear the word recovery, I'm going to be throwing our confetti. We have a cake we're going to do later. We're going to talk about some highlights of our episodes. Just have a little fun with it. So I want to take this time really quick as well. If Todd could find this, one of our biggest supporters, Jill Chickowitz, is trying to get a night for Scott, to get some votes for that, a night for Scott. So if you could follow McShin, well, you're obviously on our page, duh. So if you look on our page, I posted it. If you take a minute to vote for a night for Scott under the best charity event, that would be amazing. That particular event raises funds for same-day scholarships for the humans that we serve. So I want to thank Jill. Follow All for Scott Facebook page as well. But take a second. Todd will post it up in there when he finds it, the link to vote. So go out and vote, rock the vote, and vote for a night for Scott for the best charity event. So I will hand it to the left. Oh yeah, this is gonna be great.
Well, Honesty. So we have another special guest. Did we introduce Sara? Did I miss that?
You can. I forgot.
I'm so spacey. Sometimes I was glittered out for a second there. So Sara, an extra special guest. Sara Davies is here with us today.
Daves.
Oh gosh, I always want to say Davies. I'm sorry, but that's because I know you was Sara, as the woman who brings calm to my boss, and I like that. Sara, what brings you here today? How are you?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me once again, and congratulations on your 100th episode. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, so we're actually here today to talk a little bit about unit of justice. And so a lot of people don't know what that is. So hopefully we'll clarify some things today.
So let me jump in. So yes, I forgot about that. So Sara is very hugely special to me. I have done her goddess program. She's done amazing things on how I can heal through trauma and pain and look forward to the future and not have so much anxiety is how a few things that I've gotten from her program. So check her out at SaraDaves, DAVES.com. But she's also on McShin's advisory council, and her son actually went through McShin many years ago and lost his life to addiction. And since then, Sara has been fighting for justice for those that are incarcerated as well as those that have addiction. So she wears many of hats, through her tragedy. She's been able to educate herself and help so many more people, not just in our field, but humans in general, during conflict. I know she did one of our board strategic planning days as well. And we did the whole unitive justice or unitive whatever, unitive circle, which was very, very important for us here at McShin to be on the same page so we can better understand one another and move forward. And so this a little background. And then we have Jillian.
Hello.
Jillian is our female program director. She has another female in her belly that she's getting ready to have soon. So she runs all the female programs. She's in long-term recovery. Well, she can introduce herself after I tell everyone tomorrow she will have 3 years, 4 years in long-term recovery.
Pew, 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 pew.
And she's alone. Oh, I said recovery. Yes. Thanks, Todd. All this you get to clean up later.
This is why we have social distancing.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So take it away, Jillian.
All right. So my name is Jillian, and I am the director of female programs here at the McShin Foundation. So I get the pleasure of guiding women in recovery. I came through McShin January 27th, 2017. So tomorrow I get to celebrate 4 years, and I'm very emotional because I'm to have a baby. But I'm very excited about it and how far I've come in my life and my recovery. And it's only the McShin Foundation that gave me that platform to start my recovery. I'm a cry, so I don't want to.
I know. It's not the hormones. It's just emotional stuff.
What was the word you just used right there?
Recovery.
Get it on me.
You love it. So, but for Jillian, to be able to, the best part for me working here and developing a career for my own personal addiction is seeing women like Jillian come in, having struggles as a woman, having struggles as a mother, because was me, right? So being able to see these awesome, amazing women, grow and get their kids back and have relationships and then make other babies, it's a life-changing thing. I love doing what I do. But I had asked Sara to come on and Alex too as well. Alex is not feeling well, so we hopefully will get his input on it at another time. But thanks, Kim, for sharing, and Night for Scott. We really appreciate that. And so Sara came to us. She actually helps our female program out in Chesterfield with doing conflict. And you can touch on that as well, Sara, what you do for our females in our program. But Jillian and Alex went through the Unitive Justice program that Sara has on her website as well. And I wanted them to talk about their experience, have a conversation on how important it is to be unitive, in recovery. The criminal justice system, most of all of the work that we do here at McShin, in the jails and prisons. We got 94,000 views of our podcast, Care Talks, all the videos from 94,000 inmates this past quarter. So within 3 months, 94,000 inmates have viewed our videos. That's amazing. Yeah. So they'll have this one up. So thank you. Shout out to all the inmates watching our videos. Mm-hmm. Hey, you know what rocks? Recovery. That's what rocks.
Well, and did you see yesterday's show? Did you hear yesterday's show? There was a person. Yeah, there was a person here. Lance, yeah. Right? He heard our show while he was incarcerated, and he came and spoke about that. So that I didn't realize the impact that the show was having, and I that's humbling in a way, because all of us, we've all done the show, and to be able to connect.
Like this.
Recovery. Anyway, thank you, Sara, for being here. And I'm sorry I didn't get to do the show. Wait, I did say recovery.
Todd, get off my butt. So, Sara, tell us a little bit about your program. Tell us why you do what you do. You can talk also as well how do you serve our females in our intensive program. So you go ahead. Floor is yours.
Okay. All right. So I'm an intuitive purpose coach. Okay, so we'll start there. So I help women get very clear about their purpose in the world so they can actually manifest the life that is meant for them. Okay, and so I do this primarily through a series of testing, and then we move through the intuitive piece of it where we start to build and strategize and things like that. So that's on an individual basis. But one of the things that I like to make available to women is my Manifest Like a Goddess program. So I've taken some of the modules and used them to work with the women, that I've been working with at McShin, and we've been learning about emotional mastery, boundaries, learning their superpowers, and also learning a tool called reflective listening, which is part of the Unit of Justice theory course that Jill and Alex took. So there's a lot there. So if you want to put it in buckets, I guess you would say that I do purpose, manifesting, and conflict resolution. And really that's what Unit of Justice is. It's a form of conflict resolution. It's if you think about restorative justice being this big, giant thing that's comprised of all kinds of stuff. Restorative justice can even include yoga in prisons, right? So it's a lot of different things, but Unit of Justice is a little tiny piece under restorative justice that really focuses on removing punitive elements from conflict resolution and just really focusing on those unitive elements so people can come together, resolve their issues, and recognize each other's shared humanity. And when that happens, all of these new possibilities open up that were not apparent before. So it's really exciting. It's really exciting stuff. Jill took my class for 8 weeks, and it was such a pleasure to have you. And I'm so happy that you were able to do it. You brought so much richness, and really that's the thing. Like in the recovery community, this work, it's almost like ingrained. Like there's I call it like this mindset shift that occurs in the level 1 theory class. But it's almost as if that process begins in recovery, because Alex and Jill had a sort of a head start in that realm when we started and added such a richness to the class. I mean, we were cross-pollinating with all, we had bankers, therapists, parent coaches, parents in the class, teachers. So even a nonprofit leader in the class. And we all learned a lot from one another. Mm-hmm. But so if you want to tell me really what it's about,
what did you learn, Jillian Nye?
Well, it's not only what I learned. It was amazing to go into something not knowing exactly what we were getting into, to be honest with you.
Well, y'all two are doing this.
Yeah.
We think it'd be great.
Yeah. So so when it started, it was like, Unit of Justice System. Well, I don't know too much about that. And so there's like 13 arcs that we have. I believe it's 13, 12 or 13. I think it's 13. And like each arc, it was amazing how it implied into your personal life. Mm-hmm. And like she said, and me and Alex being in recovery, it was amazing what we were learning in this class. How we can implement it in our recovery, in our life today. And it was amazing to take a class with people not in recovery, because, they learned a lot from what we do, and we learned a lot from them too. We got really personal, but it was an amazing class. Sarah, you were an amazing teacher, absolutely amazing at it. So I appreciate that. But yeah.
I know her voice and how calm she is.
Yes.
Being able to just to touch on some of Sarah's other attributes. So I did one of your meditations the other day. I do a wellness group with the girls every other Friday. And I'm telling y'all, her voice alone and these guided meditations, because I love guided meditations. That's kind of really the only way I can meditate if someone tells me. And, your voice is just your sense. So we used to have in-person this thing called Synapse. It's like a networking group. And when Sara we used to have them in person. We still have them. But when she comes into the room, it's like this sense of I don't know, like a fairy or something, just like a sick peace, man. I got my bell bottoms on today because I was thinking about you, just like peace, Would you like to see them, Todd? You see that? Woo! But also to touch, I've got all in my glasses. To touch on the goddess program, that she does, again, follow her on Facebook and all of her stuff. But, when I took it, it was probably, over a year ago now. And I was just in this weird space in my life and like with long-term recovery, I was just, I don't know. I just needed something more than the program that I was working. So I started this goddess program, and it was like, I got rid of so much like childhood trauma and like really, really low self-esteem stuff that I just hadn't completely resolved or gotten through the pathway of my recovery, and, to be able to like sit with your feelings and like really understand what your mind is thinking, not just, oh, well, it just is what it is. And that's what it was. I felt like I needed to dig deeper in some things that happened to me or things that I was doing. And so that program really, it's all laid out for you. Are you still doing that program? Is it still on your website?
Oh yeah, it's still there,
Okay.
and people are joining all the time. And I have one more chapter left in the book that I'm writing on how to manifest like a goddess. So it's going to be sort of like a counterpart to it. So it's really exciting. And so that means, because I have given this so much thought, that I'll be doing expanding the program, very soon, to include videos and things like that, because this is really diving so deep into the work. But yeah, really it is about like healing your inner stuff, and that's resolving inner conflict. And so really what's happening in here is what you see out there. So if you're experiencing external conflict, that is your cue that there's a wound inside that needs to be healed. And really, it's impossible to manifest if you've got all that stuff going on. If your relationships are a mess, or if your relationship with yourself is not as aligned as it could be, manifesting consciously is really difficult to do. So yeah, the conflict resolution stuff is woven in every single thing that I do. It's just become a part of me. And I think Jillian can attest to that too. It's like taking the red pill. It's like, it's like we're fishing water.
Yeah,
we don't know
here anymore.
Right? We just,
Sara,
yeah.
Sara, is that last chapter that you're writing, is that about Jillian and honesty? It might be 2 or 3 or 4 chapters right there.
I legit feel like a goddess.
You are.
No kidding. With my defects and low self-esteem and all the stuff that I've worked on through all these years, I felt like a piece of crap when I came to McShin. I was a mother of a 5-year-old that I could not be a mother to. She was born, addicted to heroin, and withdrawal is now what it's called. All this language change. And a lot like Jillian, like that's why I connect. So, I like the dudes here and stuff too, but I just connect. I'm not pro, like, don't help men. There's something about that peer-to-peer lived experience, same story stuff,
Yeah.
and to be able to like own who you are, but also continually work on yourself. That is the things, I got from Sara. And I still get, recently I just took out my binder and was like just going through it all, and like rereading stuff that I wrote a year ago. Cause I'm pretty sure it's been about a year. It was before COVID started, I think. And, just seeing how much you change. Like if you do step work, whatever your path is, like go back and read that stuff from when you lived in McShin or when you started. Cause it is just completely different.
Exactly. And thinking about, who I was when I came into the doors of McShin, and then being able to grow as a woman and have women actually guide me and help me make decisions. Because when I came here, my first week at McShin, I lost custody of my daughter, and then here I am about 4 years later, I'm about to have another little girl, and it's only, because of the women, and the men here that helped guide me.
And yeah, we love men. Only one particular one. But we do love helping men too. So I don't want this to be, I'm all empowering women and woman power. If you know me, because look, man and women, I did not was a good woman. I didn't think I was a good human, you know, and I have come into my own through programs like Sara, through my personal pathway of recovery, and the multiple pathways that I'm really in now. Like, come on. Like, I lived a pretty horrible life before I found McShin, you know, and it's important for me to own, you know, this isn't cocky, it's confident, you know, I'm confident that I'm going to make mistakes, but I'm also confident that I'm going to learn from them. You know, no program is perfect. McShin, any program out there, if you say you're perfect, give me a call, because I would love to like talk to you and have you on our podcast for your perfection. But you know, I think what, you know, all of us learn here through, you know, and it's unitive. It's all unitive justice stuff that we work through in our own personal recovery. You know, it's like, I feel going through Sara's program, it was that unitive justice that I wasn't giving grace for myself. Like when I guess I was about at 12 years in recovery, and I was like, guess what? Like, I just didn't know the whole way, like what was happening. Like, I felt like when you get all this recovery time, your life is supposed to be like beyond perfect. And that just wasn't the reality of it for me. I was just going through certain things that I needed help with. And I was like, well, and Sara's, you know, in my life. So I was like, well, let me just try this. She kept talking about it. And it was so important, you know, for me. So you helped me, girl, from probably making some major bad decisions. I mean, I didn't want to use, but it was just like, all right, this is my life, right? I got kids, a husband, a career, all of it's beautiful, but you go through stuff too. It's like, what am I going to do this forever? You know, I just hit 40, in October, and I'm loving life. And it's because, you know, in my personal recovery, and I know for these humans here, it's like we're always working on our recovery. No matter what it is, we're always working on something. And that, oh gosh, I said that like 50 times. You know, we're always working on something. And it's like, to be able to be here and be around all these super cool people, it's like, who wouldn't want a career like this?
Yeah, really.
I mean, who doesn't want this all over them? This is great. I wish it wasn't in my tea, though. Look at this. Hope Dealer, our woman, chairwoman, Debbie Rosenbaum. Shout out to our first woman, chairwoman on our board of directors. Got me this. Hope Dealer. We deal hope instead of dope.
We've had Debbie on the show a number of times. Yeah. And so that's, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is a tremendous, that just happened yesterday?
It happened it was posted yesterday. She got voted in our January board meeting.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. And she's
amazing.
Yeah, she's amazing. And she's an incredible advocate for recovery.
Woo!
Oh God, it's everywhere. For those of you who are just listening and not seeing what we're doing, Honesty is throwing glitter every time we use the
confetti.
R word. Well, all right, confetti. And confetti is the herpes of the crafting world. So it's going to be everywhere.
Todd, you're so excited to clean up. I'll vacuum.
But Sara, so we are so glad, of course, to have you, and listening to what's going on here. What is the next step? What do you see as the next step for your book that you've got coming out, and going beyond that?
Oh yeah. So I've got another round of edits for sure. But I'm about finished, and then we'll talk about publishing, and hopefully by the middle of 2021 it will be published and then be a part of the program, and then an offshoot of it. But yeah, so my main focus these days is really on unitive justice, because like I said before, it's woven within the fabric of every single thing that I do. It's like, and thinking about like where we are as a society, and, all of the social injustice, and we've got this pandemic and all of this, blame and pain, and just, it's a conflict. It's so much conflict. If we continue to look for somebody to punish, and we continue to look for someone to blame, we will never get to the heart of the issue, the underlying wound, and solve anything. And so it sounds a little bit woo-woo, right? Like like manifesting like a goddess,
Well,
but really it is the most sane choice you can make to practice unitive justice, because really it's justice is love, right? Gosh, there's so many facets of this. We've got unitive business, unitive politics, unitive education. I've taught these classes at VCU with my mentor, Sylvia Clute, who's the president of the Alliance for Unitive Justice, and she calls herself an attorney in recovery. So because she knew what justice's vengeance looked like, but she had no idea what justice's love was. And so I'm just really grateful that she has kind of blessed me with permission, to take this work to the next level. And really what we're trying to do is train facilitators so they can take this information out into the world. We trained one man who was an attorney in Nepal, and he took our course and then went back to Nepal and started a nonprofit organization based on restorative justice, and is now working with the UN in Somalia and with Nepal to do some really amazing things. He's now building a school that is just restorative justice. So there's no punitive elements, there's no punishment. That sounds really crazy, right? You do something, you've got to take responsibility for that. You've got to be punished for it. But honestly, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't create remorse. It doesn't open possibilities. It doesn't heal the wounds. And so we learn a very different way of doing it.
Have you ever had the opportunity to meet with locality criminal justice systems here in this area and offer to train? I mean, I don't really, I guess necessarily their staff, but people that can make the decisions happen instead of punishment. How can we have a more inclusive and what is the word I'm looking for? Recovery.
Recovery can be painful sometimes.
No, but a more inclusive. I mean, do you get feedback from that? Do you get pushback?
Yeah, so I'll tell you, we started off. Now, Sylvia went into the school system, and I just moved to DC right when they got in. But she came into the school system, into the high school in Richmond, Virginia. It was Armstrong. It had the highest expulsion rate in the city. And then it was really up there nationwide as far as the rates of expulsion. And they got a grant to go in. And so what happened was they would set up an environment where there was a circle process available to students at all times. So when kids got in trouble, usually for fighting, they could choose. They could choose to go to the principal's office and receive their punishment, or they could choose to go to the circle and resolve their conflict. And so what happened was they always chose to go to the circle and resolve the conflict. And then when there was an issue again, what would happen is before it got out of hand, they would go straight to the circle and resolve it. So they were also taking this information home and asking these specific questions that we ask in the facilitation process to their parents and having new conversations with their parents. So what they found was the number of incidents dropped drastically, more than 50%. And so we know that this works. It works literally anywhere. We've trained judges and even people who worked in the last administration who were connected to the UN. We've trained attorneys, police officers, all kinds of people. But we have not gotten into any government contracts or anything. But one thing that's really exciting is that we are working with criminologists from Israel right now. And so one of those criminologists will be taking the class, the Unit of Justice Theory class, coming up in March, and move, that's the level one, that's the mindset shift, and then we go on to facilitation practices and learning how to do that stuff. So she's going to be doing that, and that's going to revolutionize their work. And she's very excited about it. She knows this is true. If we come back with qualitative research from the criminologists in Israel after they put our practice to use, then, it's possible that we can get into, criminologists or criminology here, within government. But we are entering into the prison systems through two amazing men who are affiliated with AUJ, the Alliance for Unity of Justice. Unity of Justice is exactly what I called it. So I'm looking at the comments. So these two men who spent 25 years in prison for murder basically transformed their pod from the inside. They hung a sign that said self-governance. That's one of our arcs. But they had no idea what Unity of Justice was. And then when Sylvia met them, when they came home, she realized that they were doing exactly what this work teaches you. So now they are part of a major reentry effort, and also going into the prisons and teaching the inmates how to do this work, teaching the prison employees how to do this work as well, and work together. So yeah, they have a pretty incredible story, but there's so many incredible stories associated with this.
It is one of the most awesome things about taking the class is watching some of the videos, and how I opened my mind to the way I was thinking. And just for an example, one of the videos we watched was a guy shot and murdered this lady's son, and of course she was mad at him at first and everything, and then when she came in, they came to her and said, would you be open to taking this unit of justice class? Well, not class, but learning about it. And she said, yeah. And so now she got to meet him and like understood the core problem. Like that guy was having a bad day. He shot and killed her son, but it wasn't personal. And so now she has a relationship with him, even though her son's not here. They were able to work it out.
That's probably one of the most powerful ones, Jill. I mean, that is like a really
and that's the reason I bring it up, because it was so powerful. Because I remember when I wrote my reflection to you, I thought to myself, I said, well, if somebody takes somebody else's life, to me, there's nothing that you can do. Like, I would never forgive that person, like ever. And then actually watching somebody forgive somebody for doing that. And there was many videos that kind of just opened my mind. And that was one of the most important things that I learned during this class, was just the way that I was thinking, how I was kind of shut off to what, and how I was learning, how we can implement on what we do here in recovery, even with the, what I'm trying to say, the
humans?
No. Reflective listening.
No.
That in itself, I was just amazed. I would go, get out of class with Sara, and I would just look at Jeremy and say, did you hear what I said? Repeat that.
Repeat that.
Repeat that back to me.
You know that a lot.
You know what I mean? And it was just amazing just how much you learn. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, these are not working out for me.
the
The glitter?
Well, no. I like that. I'm just trying to pick up more to have some spares.
But yeah.
Gosh, this is beautiful.
We're distracted by the
We are.
by the
Everywhere.
squirrel, glitter squirrel recovery.
So John asked a question that doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about, but that's all right.
I read that and thought, I was like, okay.
Are you on the right podcast, sir?
That's tomorrow.
How important is accreditation for Capras? So I think it's so important. It's, what he's talking about is McShin is the only accredited RCO, Recovery Community Organization, in Virginia. And what that means is we have staff, executive staff, board of directors, and now, for almost 9 years now, we have an accredited body that looks over all of our protocols, policies, paperwork, ethics, strategic planning, unitive stuff, everything that we pretty much do here. We have someone that I guess it's all of us, but I'm the connection, to make sure that we have everything that we're supposed to be doing. And I truly believe personally and professionally that it's so important to have something like that. So you don't go rogue, right? I've been doing this for a long time, and there's some rogue stuff that has happened throughout the years of individuals that serve humans like we do in this field. And I love that we're CAPRIS accredited. I'm actually a site reviewer for CAPRIS. So before COVID, I've done one virtual since COVID. I get to go to other RCOs and guide them, teach them, help them, listen to them, reflective listening on how to help their organization be self-sustaining and efficient and ethically responsible to the humans that they serve. So it's a cool experience for me. I love doing it and traveling and seeing other RCOs, across America. But, I think the biggest part of the accreditation piece is we work our butts off here at McShen, for the people that we serve and the families that we serve. And, McShen, I've been to a few RCO, I don't know of an RCO that serves as many people as well as all the services that we serve. The services that we deliver, and all of the recovery support services along with the family members. I am crucial about the family piece. You have to heal that family as well. So to be able to have an accredited body we call it big binder. It's a huge binder of all the stuff that we have to implement and protect, and ultimately to be ethically responsible for, the individuals that we serve. And I think, being through this process, we got accredited once, twice. Now we've been reaccredited for the third time for 5 years. That's big stuff. That's big stuff to be able to get accredited for 5 years, with very minimal, just a few things that we needed to improve in our organization. So it's a lengthy process, but it's worth all of it. And this time around, because we have so many amazing people, it wasn't as much anxiety. Maybe it's because I took the Goddess program class and I don't have as much anxiety as I used to. But I think organizations still need some type of something kind of looking over what they're doing, because there's a lot of money being involved, in our field, and money comes a lot of great things, but a lot of negative things as well. And we do it the McShen way. And as long as I'm here and we have the people that we have here, it's going to be done a very ethically positive, loving, caring, confetti, real, honest, authentic way. And to be able to say that we're accredited by another body, I'm so proud of our accreditation. We worked our butts off to get it. And it's only because of the services that we provide and the humans that we are, we're able to get accredited, because I don't make up stuff. I don't sugarcoat too much. And I'm not fake. So I have to be transparent, for this organization and the people and the families that we serve. What's the point of being fake? I've never really understood that. I was fake for so many years in my addiction. I just don't have time for it anymore. I have to be authentic, be myself. People are probably making fun of me. We have a ton of blooper reels from today, and I don't care at all. One bit. I love being me, and it's taken a lot of years and a lot of work, and I get to see these guys and gals, be the humans that they want to be, not because they have to have a job or they have to do this. We get to get up every day. You know, I was manifesting this morning. When I work out in this I have a little rancher that I love and adore. I'm not bouge. I love all my things, but I have this area that I want a she sanctuary. I want a little gym sanctuary. Honesty gets to go outside and kind of hide situation that my husband's either going to build or we're trying to save and figure it out. But I'm manifesting like a mother looking out my window when I work out every morning. I'm looking at the pile of gravel and all I can think about is you, Sara, because it's like the manifestation, just that word, you know, manifesting, you know, and I truly believe in manifestation. And I really didn't, like, when I got into Sara's program, I was like, well, let me just try this. What is this? And I've done a few things of like meditating and stuff like that. But I think it's important to have a connection with something out there, because if you're always, and I live this in recovery, like negative, gosh, the world, like, why are these people doing like whatever now? I mean, I'm for real into 2021 is like, I am going to, I'm on a loud part. I'm gonna, you know, work my butt off for this community, but also I'm not going to take any, you know what.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and Sara, I was wondering, like, so Jill went through your program and you have other people that are going through the program as well. So like, when they complete it, do they get like almost, you know, we're talking about accreditation, but do they get like a certificate? Do they get some kind of, you know, something to help, you know, for them to look back on? So that they have something, you know, to hold on to.
A gavel, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, no, they actually get a certificate and become certified facilitators after taking the 3 levels. So there's a level 1, which is the theory. Level 2 is the practical application and learning how to hold a unit of circle. And then level 3 is practice, and level 3 is no charge. We just come together once a month and practice until that person's ready. But they get certificates all along the way for each level. So everyone who takes the Unitive Justice Theory level 1 course will get a certificate for that. And we have 4. I mean, I only have room for 8 people because I really want people to get what they came for. It's a very immersive and experiential experience. So, you know, we want to make sure that everybody has their time to unpack. It's a lot to unpack. It seems like it's hard to explain until you're there. But it's so much to unpack because we have been thinking, you know, along punitive measures for so long and not even realizing what we're doing. And when we make that shift, it's not an easy thing. So you become a different person. And which is required in order to hold the space as a facilitator to resolve that conflict. So we have 4 spots left for the March course right now.
Can you do some of those practice circles maybe here? Would that be something to do like for our humans we serve in early recovery?
Yes, what I would love.
You know, that. And just like the inner, I mean, because I know a lot of your work, you know, it's obviously unitive justice to make the world a better place, but that inner turmoil in early recovery is like a huge part of, you love this, a huge part of like.
I'm not done testifying in committee too, by the way.
Oh gosh. Anyway, it's like a huge hurdle to get over early on. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. If you'd like to do that, Jillian. When she gets back from having that beautiful baby, we could set that up for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we did an impromptu circle not very long ago with some women at McShin. And you never know what's going to happen. So what had to happen was for everybody to get off their chest what they needed to say and what they were feeling. And then we started to develop solutions that weren't present before. Now, I mean, it doesn't solve everything in one go sometimes, you know, it just depends. I mean, when you're talking about people coming into, I mean, my brother was just there for 5 months and, you know, and going into an environment where you're faced with, a lot of things. I mean, a lot of things. It's just like to unpack all that in one go is really almost impossible, but we could keep doing it. And so what we found was that even people who were not directly involved in that circle that we did kind of on the fly, that was impactful for everybody who watched it. And you remember, Honesty, when we did that practice circle?
Oh, yeah. You know what I did? What time? So Sara asked me actually to join to be kind of part of the focus group before you started all this work, just to have, I guess, the perspective of a pretty awesome woman in recovery. But no, seriously. So mine was talking to the individual that, so one of my really good friends overdosed and died when I was so young. And I swore I would never, do heroin and stuff. Well, I ended up overdosing a week later after him. And I got shot up with Narcan, and I got saved by Narcan. But, it was talking to the individual that he was with, because I have still to this day never confronted the individual that he was with, because they did not want, again, scared, young, didn't want to call him, or whatever the situation was. I can't speak for him, but that was deep. That was deep to be able to get all your feet. And that I was a little girl. I was 17 years old. That was a long time ago. But that was the first thing that really popped in my head, during that time. And that was probably about 2 years ago or something. But to be able to role play or get stuff out, that is manifested in a negative way for so many years, it was truly, truly a blessing. One of the people there played him, and I was able to what the hell happened, man? Or, I don't remember the verbiage I used, but maybe just to kind of get it out and move forward from it, not hold this resentment. Not that I've been holding it for all these years, but just kind of being able to walk through something that was very painful for me. And I couldn't really go through it because I was actively using myself. So it was really kind of cool to be able to do that. There's so many ways you can utilize this program and work through so many conflicts in your marriage. I think this is a huge, I've definitely implemented it, especially that reflective listening. Now, did you get my to-do list? No. That reflective listening, but also to be able to sit and talk and be calm. My whole thing, and I'm still working on it, but I'm so much better. I used to be immediate defense, or not letting people kind of talk and hear their side of it, because I always want a solution because I need to move on to the next thing. But now I just kind of I just listen. I just feel like I'm just high off life, just sitting there listening, man. And, it's just important to listen, because I think a lot of the conflicts sometimes we put on ourselves because we're trying to do too much. We're trying to save the world. And I've had to really take a step back and look at all of that, and it's helped tremendously. I'm only one person. I can't do it all.
Yeah, it's huge, really. I mean, when you think about you as a CEO trying to resolve conflict by making decisions quickly. So that's, you can look back later and say, oh, if I had known a little bit more about that, just making this stuff up. So what if you didn't have to worry about any of that? What if when you will have this, because Alex and Jill are going to take level 2, right? So once that happens, it's if they even have the bandwidth. So I'm just thinking kind of out of the box here. But if there was a person who did have the time to create the space to really get to the heart of an issue, right? And that's what you're talking about when you're talking about talking to your family members or your spouse or something. It's we want to get to the answer so quick. We want that quick Band-Aid fix because we have to move on to the next thing. We don't have a whole lot of time to be spending on this because this has to get done. But what we find is in the slowing down and really getting to the heart of the issue, the underlying wound, so many more possibilities, open up that maybe will eliminate the need to have to go to this next task right away. Right. So it's just, I can't even tell you what it is, but every single time we've done a practice circle, we call that a semi-simulated circle, which is how we learn how to do the facilitation process, or a real circle, like where two people who are having an issue or two or more come together and resolve it. There are always a tremendous amount of untold possibilities where it just makes everything so much easier down the road, in so many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What you got?
Well, I'm full of glitter here.
Confetti.
Confetti. I'll have to talk about that with my sponsor, I guess.
Yeah.
In my recovery. I'm a glutton for punishment too. This has really been educational, very, very interesting stuff. And we talk about punitive, and we talk about, I know we mentioned the criminal justice system. There is legislation being heard tomorrow in subcommittee.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Well, and
What support does McShin need while you have this airtime?
Today we were listening to a bill that would expand Danny's bill, which went through last year. Danny's bill only asks emergency departments to create policies for handling substance use related emergencies. So essentially overdoses and how we treat, instead of treating and treating, treat, follow up is the intent of the law. And it sort of got watered down last year. So they're putting some stuff back in. So the bill that was heard today in subcommittee, which they had to postpone until later this afternoon, which is why I still have to testify. But this would add naloxone. Individuals who overdose will get naloxone to take with them. They'll get resources, access to resources, and they'll get what was the other thing? There are three things: the access to resources. They'll have a substance use disorder assessment. And it's like the most basic thing, and people are complaining about the naloxone of all things. They don't want to give people the naloxone.
Naloxone, save this girl.
The assumption being that we give people naloxone they're going to continue to use, which is just absurd to the three of us. I would imagine, probably Sara as well. The four of us.
I did start using it.
But not as a result of having naloxone.
No,
it wasn't
not
like,
at all.
oh, I've got naloxone now. I should continue to use.
Then.
Yeah.
That was 20 years ago. 23 years ago.
I
love being 40.
I'm 40. I'll be 45 in June. Tomorrow, though, going along with the punitive part of this stuff that's going on here, we've got a bill that's being heard in the criminal courts of justice criminal subcommittee, and that would reclassify felony possession charges to charges.
Oh wow!
Yeah, this is
huge.
This is huge, and it's likely. I mean, being realistic and the timeline with the short committee. I mean,
so what can our audience do? Because I know we're running out.
Well,
of time. Chatty cat.
I haven't put a link in for what's his name, because I wasn't expecting to be here. However, you can go on the General Assembly's website. You can find the bill. You can find HB 2303, which is the piece of legislation that discusses reclassification, and you can support it. You can say why you support it. So we'll get more information out about that going forward, and that is an important piece of legislation that will likely be something we'll be discussing in the next few sessions. Next session probably. Just a thought. So there's a lot of good things coming up too. We've got money in the pipeline possibly. And that goes along with the CAPRIS accreditation and why accrediting organizations are so important, because when you have the General Assembly looking to give money to proven resources, proven service recovery support services providers. I'm waiting.
How about this?
There we go. When we have we have the General Assembly waiting to give money, we have to be able to prove that we're worth giving the money to. And one way that we can do that is to be proactive and get the accreditation instead of waiting for the government to go around and say, hey, you're good. We can say, well, hold on. We've created a standard, and we think this standard is better than what you can do. So there's a lot going on, but
we're definitely worth it.
Yeah, we are definitely worth it. But anyway, so.
If you would like to be added to Nathan's Recovery Advocacy Project, put your email or message us at McShin with your email address so he can start sending you emails about all the great stuff that we're doing. Well, we got to wrap it up.
Wait.
No.
You can't wrap it up yet because we
Oh, you got to do the wheel. Well, we'll
Yeah.
just run over. I don't care.
We have the wheel of
Sarah,
names.
Sarah, thank you for your time.
Sarah, thank you so
your
much.
Beautiful, beautiful energy.
Yes,
Sarah
thank
is
you.
amazing. What is all that noise?
The group next door is getting out.
Yes.
Those are our participants.
That's our humans that we get to serve every day.
So, thank you again, Sarah.
Thank you,
Great
Sarah. I
Thank you,
love you.
Yes,
Todd,
love you.
Thank you, Sarah. Great to have you.
I can't get the middle.
Todd, remember when I said start from the middle and work your way out?
Yeah, well, it didn't work.
What was the what do you mean? Oh, the candle. Hey, guess what? You could have done it. My hands are covered in confetti.
All right.
You need to look in the mirror before you testify.
All right. So we.
So,
I
Todd,
see my
look at
clitoris.
my hair. Oh, I love it. I'm doing it all day. Didn't take me. I've applied 3 times, thrice.
All right.
For
So,
Wheel of Fortune.
Twice.
we have shirts that we ordered that are actually going to be here today.
Woo! Gosh,
And-
where's my shirt, Todd?
So,
Where's my shirt?
It's coming.
Gosh,
It's
Todd.
coming. We have
You're
40,
affecting my recovery.
48 entries,
I
and
just wanted to do that
unfortunately,
again.
nobody can see this. But we're going to spin the wheel.
Nobody can see it. Well, what are you doing?
Well, I could.
Nobody can see what? The wheel?
The
The
wheel?
wheel.
Well,
This is
what are
just
they
for
looking
us?
at? Oh, they're just
No,
looking at
we
us?
want them to see it.
Well, we'll just do this.
Let me share the
Woo!
screen.
What?
Let me
Wheels
share-
on the bus go round and round.
You have to.
See,
See,
we
this
just
is
share-
why I'm not
Ay,
on
ay,
the podcast often because I have way too much
All
fun.
right. So let's
All right.
see. We should
What
be
are we doing? Is this just going to randomly pick? They really can't see this wheel.
You
Oh,
what?
they can
Oh,
see
there
it.
we go.
Oh,
They
there
can
we
see it.
go.
Ooh, there we go.
All right. So
Wheel.
we are going to spin the wheel.
Recovery.
Of course, Most of our listeners are listening to the podcast and don't see anything.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes noise too.
Oh, that's so
All right. So wait.
How
So
did you do that?
Did you put my name?
You didn't.
Did you
sign
do
up?
2?
So our first.
I told Todd I thought everybody was voting for me because I was number 2.
Who is that?
All right. So this.
John Paul Monterey.
Congratulations.
Monteverno.
What are you doing? Oh, I see Greg Jones on
Yes.
there.
So John Paul Montevino,
Montevino.
like you actually.
Oh, I can't see his whole
You
name.
won the. You won a Get in the Herd shirt.
Woo!
Just
Can
get
we
us-
autograph it?
yeah, and
We'll
we'll,
autograph it on the back.
and we'll obviously try to contact you to get the message. So
Yeah,
anyways, so that's our shirt winner. We have a winner. So
We have
Congratulations.
Winner,
I thought
chicken
you were doing
dinner.
5 winners.
well, I was gonna do 2 more tonight, but actually, you know
Let's
what?
do one now.
All
Yeah,
right,
let's do
let
one
me-
now.
We have the cake and the confetti.
All
I
right.
mean, what
But-
do you got
but-
tonight?
I
But
got-
do we have the shirts?
Well, actually, we don't.
Do we
because-
have forks so
no,
we can
so
eat this?
we actually
I told-
rescheduled that. Let me go back,
Nathan's got to find it.
and I'm going to share this again, and we're going to get.
I'll have my
our-
turn.
All right, our second winner.
This is like craps.
Can I just do this all day?
No, not craps.
No,
What's
after that.
the game with the?
Wheel of
Oh,
Fortune.
Oh, Chrissy
Roulette.
Stevens put her name in there.
Oh,
Alex Bond. You can't be up there. Oh yes,
Oh,
he's
just
gone.
no.
Oh. It's
Bill Bond.
That's Alex's dad.
Oh, congratulations, Bill.
Well, I mean, Bill
Right.
deserves a shirt anyway, just for having
We're
Alex.
gonna do.
I know.
We're gonna do one more. One
One more.
One more.
That's what we all said. Just one more. I'm only going to just do one more.
One is too many.
One
We're
more.
gonna stop after this.
One more confetti.
Oh.
So.
Oh, that's funny.
No.
Right next to
So
Gene.
it's Melanie Taza. So
Congratulations.
Come on down.
Can we just do this a whole podcast one day
Yeah.
and just give
So
away?
much-
You know, we
We
had fun
could.
playing
We could.
trivia that time, didn't we? I
we
forgot.
could, and then so. All right, so that's it. That's our 3 winners, and we'll message you and let you know to get a hold of us to give us your details and send you your shirt.
So are we
So-
making a wish?
Yes.
I'm going to manifest a wish.
All right.
Y'all got to. Don't one of us just blow because of COVID.
You do it.
Mhm.
Okay. Look at the one.
You've been the most careful.
Ah.
Hey,
I got it in my
and make
mouth.
sure you watch the show tonight. Is it tonight?
Oh
Todd?
yeah, who do you got tonight?
No, actually, we rescheduled it for next Tuesday.
'cause Alex
So
not
yeah, so
feeling
we're gonna do Jesse Heffernan.
Yes, 20 years in recovery, Jesse.
And then Angela Millette. She was actually, I think it's how you say it, Millette. She was actually on here earlier.
just dump it
So
on the
they're going to have them next Tuesday. So
Do we have anybody scheduled for tomorrow at 2?
we have our participant check-in tomorrow.
Perfect. Okay.
So
Check in. Yeah.
So Nathan, do you want to close this thing out?
Oh, I thought we were done.
Well, I just want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you to Sarah Daves. I want to say Davies all the time. Sarah Daves. Thank you to Jillian Nye for coming and being part of the show today. Woo! And thank you to our special our hostess with the mostest, Honesty Liller, our chief executive officer, and of course to our producer and VA extraordinaire over there, Todd. Thank you very much. And to all of you out there, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow for another edition of the award-winning Get in the Herd, brought to you by the McShin Recovery Resource Foundation.
Here at McShin, we believe in the McShin way, which is authentic recovery support service providers, people with lived experience, bringing that experience to those who need that lived experience in recovery.
Here at McShin, we believe in many things to support our mission. We believe in women empowerment.
What I love most about what we believe here at McShin is we believe in the authenticity of the peer-to-peer approach.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe in giving people opportunity.
Here at McShin, we believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person.
At the McShin Foundation, we believe in helping people reach their full potential.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe in multiple pathways to recovery.
Here at McShin, we believe in placing principles before personalities to help spread hope.
Here at McShin, we believe that recovery is possible and that any person seeking recovery can become a more acceptable, responsible, and productive member of society.
Here at the McShin Foundation, we believe in self-discovery.
Here at McShin, we believe in saving lives and offering second chances.
Here at McShin, we believe you can do this.
Here at McShin Foundation, we believe that we can only keep what we have by giving away, which is why we continue to help others like us seek and find recovery.
We'll get there soon. We'll get there soon. We could be any place. We'll get there soon. We'll get there soon.